Thank you very much, Zeling, for that introduction. It's too kind. And also, thanks for having me back, Penang. It's a very delicious place. I only have a complaint because you see me standing right today. Do I look drunk? That means Kok Chung not doing his job. Yeah, I've had two wonderful evenings here. I came to do some inspections, uh, and I tried to do the session here today. When Christine from Stiflex contacted me that she wanted to do a paper here, that was several months ago. Back then, the circular issued by KPKT was not yet issued. So I only heard a bit of rumbling going on that this is what they wanted to do. I thought that it will never happen. So I went to CIDB to collect information, and then so Puan Zainora, who's in charge of this CIDB #2 person, sent me by WhatsApp only last week, basically just saying, look, oh, there's this new circular. So as it was, suddenly from a very dry, boring topic that she kind of asked me to do, something that I have to recall for work that I've done 30 years ago, and try to put it in the context of Penang, become relevant. So, it is a very, very difficult situation for everybody. I'm not going to be able to give you any solutions this morning. I have no solutions. The solutions lie in a collective effort, and this is coming from me wearing so many hats. Okay, so today I've sent I think almost 10 folders in your website. Okay, in your website you have uploaded. It's taken me almost 2 months to collect all the data. Now, all this is just policies and government direction. They've been trying and trying and trying. I'm sure some of my fellow baby boomers who are here, the one born before 1964, know that the government has been trying to do IBS for many, many times. This time, I think they will fail again because this is being launched by KPKT, and KPKT is federal, right? So you got to make sure that your state, various states still need to gazette. So if your state government decides to say, I will follow the federal government directive, then you guys need to deal with it. At this stage, it's like the UBBL, the new UBBL. How many states have actually gazetted the latest UBBL? The 2021, right? 2020, I think 2021, right? The latest UBBL. Right, yeah. Has Penang gazetted it? No, not yet, right? Yeah. So that means the new Bomba rules are not coming in yet. Yeah, but your Bomba rules are here, but your UBBL is not here. So again, which leg is moving first? Correct. Federal, yeah, but then federal, they will approve you separately, right? Yeah. So I think this is where the several documents I've sent to you all. Please don't open it until you all are ready. The only suggestions I have is, Penang, if you're really interested to do this, don't wait till it's forced on you. I suggest that you all can do working groups. I'm happy to come up here, and then we will understand the direction and the policies and what it needs to be done. Okay. I've also put this as my retirement series, and this is my retirement. This is not my Kesapena retirement series. So I'm about to, after the IBS comes in, many of you probably want to retire as well. Okay. All right. So this is landed now. Okay. This is landed now on your shores. Okay. So I think Datin has been kind enough to, Datin Cheng has said, look, it's 10th of July, 2024. This thing has been launched. It's been imposed by KPKT. IBS 70% swasta. In case those who don't understand, please Google the word swasta. Because Kok Chung was telling me, he says, IBS are not very popular in Penang because only government projects. Then I forwarded to him the thing. I said, swasta means what? Private projects. Okay. Right. So I think now, so I put in the Comta there. So you all are going to get sucked in already. So where do we stand? 50,000 square meter buildings. That's quite large, right? How many of you are doing projects here? I think the front row lah. The front row doing all the big ones. But eventually, look, it will trickle down. Okay, it will trickle down. So from there, so KPKT federal 50 million, private sector. So now the states need to gazette, PBT needs to implement. So this is where I'm saying your PBT needs to implement. And it is now subsumed into OSC. So how they're going to do this? They're a bit tricky. Huh? They've been nasty. They put this OSC into your they put the PBT, this IBS into your OSC. So now you got another department for you to clear in OSC. So it's no longer like you can tell your contractor to do it. You got to do it during OSC. It's no longer you tender the job conventional, then you go ahead and then you get the contractor in and you tell the contractor, you go and change to IBS. It's not going to work that way. It's going to work in the scoring and the design from day one. So this is that's the difference. And guess what happened? On Tuesday, last Tuesday, PAM Central, we had to attend KKR, Kementerian, KKR. And then another group had to go to KPKT. And then another group had to go to CIDB. So 3 meetings had on the same day. I went to CIDB. Dato Tan Pei went to KPKT. And I think David Teo went to KKR. And what happened was that we were saying, hey, how can you impose this? 70% is nobody can achieve this score. They said, hey, yeah, but your PAM rep agreed to it. So we said, who's the PAM rep? Because I was your honorary secretary for the last 2 years, and I never got any notes. So, somebody agreed for us but didn't tell us. Incidentally, we were told it's the immediate past president. Why are you laughing, Tony? I'm only stating the facts. Okay. So on one hand, we are saying, look, why is this being agreed? And there was no feedback. In fact, we had feedback, yeah, except that the feedback didn't come to all of you guys that it was launched. So I've just taken a screenshot here. This is in one of those documents that I have forwarded to you all. As you can see now, you got CIDB here as part of your Lampiran Satu for your mechanism for getting your OSC. So it's going to be part of all of your Bomba and Plan Malaysia and everything else. It's going to be part of this already. Okay. And then you go through the process here under part of your OSC steps. Now it becomes here under CIDB. So CIDB now becomes another authority for you to clear. Good luck. So now suddenly architects, you have to deal with CIDB. You thought it was a construction issue. Okay. And then here, finally, you come to the Pemonahan, Bomba, JKKP, TMB, and so forth. So now you got CIDB here. So how are you guys going to manage it in this? I don't know, because this is also new to everybody. So happy retirement. How? Anybody want to retire now can leave the hall quietly. It's fine. I understand, yeah, because I can't tell you how to solve this. Okay. Okay. So why? Why is the government doing this? Really, why is the government doing this? The government has tried to do this because we wanted to stay away from foreign workers. I think you know that we have been quite lucky, and we have been kicking the can down the road, saying, look, okay, we're still going to get workers from Indonesia. Then when the Indonesian workers stopped coming, we got workers from Bangladesh. Then after the COVID, all the construction sites have issues. I think this is the government again trying to kickstart it again, right? I have a timeline on how the government tried to do this. Can I have that slide? The second one I was telling you. The second one that I said to open up. Sorry, I have all of this information just coming in as I was gathering it. That second one, the one under remember I asked you to open that? Yeah, thanks. Yes, just open that one. Yeah. And then you just help me to scroll down. Yeah. Can you just scroll down? So this one is under, okay, so all this is under CIS 18. Okay. Just in case you don't know, CIS is what CIDB produces. So all the contractors that do the levy, when you have your contract, you put CIDB a levy, the contractor puts it inside the contract. All the money goes to CIDB and CIDB produces CIS standards. So 18 is the manual for IBS content and scoring. Can you just scroll down? Can you just bring it down? Yeah. I think you just clicked. Yep. Okay. So this is the full perjalanan IBS di Malaysia. So this one is already uploaded in your website. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the details because there's a lot of raw data here. So if you can just see here, they started in 1964. That's why I said the baby boomers. This was the Pekeliling flat in KL. I think when I went through when this book was produced, the first IBS manual was produced in 2003. I saw the names of the PAM reps. Our late PK Lim was also involved. Yeah, in that time. So they tried to do that. And then as they went through, they set up IBS centers and then they produce this. Okay, are we all right? It's okay. Yeah. There's always the latecomers. I don't know. Stand up and stand up. I know I recognize you. Yeah. Can you make sure that she signs? She does. Yeah. Give her the Zoom points. Yeah, I recognize her. That one always late. Okay. So so if you look at this journey in 1964 till today, we still haven't gone very far, and we're still having stiflex. We're still having stiflex, trying to sort out our brickwork and our lightweight. You see where we are today. So it's yeah, yes, yes. No, I'm sure we do, but it is the architects are not embracing it. You see, so of course it's like some people are trying it, some people are trying it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think we go back to my slides. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Let me just move to my fourth page slide. Okay, I got it. Thank you. What's going on? Technology. Sorry, the people in Zoom. Sorry about that. Yeah. There's about 50 something people in Zoom, is it? 50, yeah, 58. Are you okay? I got about 100 slides. So that's why it's a little bit big. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is it showing? Okay. Right. Okay. So this is where we are today. This is actually one of my projects. And this is the everyday, right? And this is clearly a project that's more than 50 million and 500,000 square feet. So what do we see here? Formworks, temporary scaffoldings, um, plywood, and then after this, the concreting and so forth. So this is what we are doing. And just to talk about what Stiflex was saying, just to do stiffness alone is going to take so much time. So their solutions is really a stopgap solutions. That's why I asked that question. If everybody goes and does precast solutions, IBS solutions, we will not have so much of issues like people like Stiflex to come in to solve the issues that we have. Okay. Um, Come on. I don't know what's going on. Can you just help me to click? Okay. So this is a project that I'm doing in done in Bangkok a few years ago. I was building a a condominium, and there was another adjacent car park. Again in Thailand, also similar. As you can see, all the rubbish and basically this is a very normal construction site. Okay. And as you can see, this is where we are today. Also, all our work is still very. We buy the sand and we do the mixing. Who doesn't do this here in Penang? They all have don't have this. So I think we concur that this is where we are today. Although there was efforts to try to move away from this. And this is also where we are. So a lot of sand site mix. How do you control this? Yeah, this guy doesn't even have shoes. So he, kick it, Huh? Like a slipper, right? Yeah, yeah. Japanese slippers, yeah. It's a bit slow. I think the yeah. Okay. If you don't mind, you just click it. Yeah. I don't think it's moving very fast. Yeah. Just go on. Yeah. I just take another, just click it. Yeah. So this one I just took about 2 days before I came to Penang. I just walked around the area where I'm staying. And I'm saying, look, I just wanted to give you new photographs. So this is one of my neighbors doing renovations. So this is a 2-story house, and what you're gonna get, the usual. So no difference to you where we are standing today. Okay. This one was a project in Putrajaya that I did an inspection a while ago. As you can see, very typical. All of this things that are going on at site. One of the reasons why a lot of our we don't like to go to site. I hate to go to site. It's almost impossible for you to understand what's going on. So the contractor always say, if I can't convince you, I'll confuse you. So all your fancy IBS, BIM drawings and coordinated drawings, this is the effect you get. Okay. And then this tukang what Jubin, is it? Yeah, tukang Jubin. This is what's going on, all the hand built stuff. And then you guys, because of this, I get a lot of work in Architect Center. I never stop getting work in Architect Center. So you look at this again. No Stiflex here. Sorry, you all didn't approach this supplier. So you see all the subframes. In fact, these were my slides that I'm supposed to come to Penang to do the MS 8321107. I haven't even got to that, and then the IBS thing dropped down from the sky. So which one do you want me to do first? So this was the slide that I've done to come up to Penang on the MS 832. So all of this here, incidentally, are now going to be controlled under MS 832. All of the casement windows. Okay. So you see the issues that you face, all the gaps and the issues with workmanship, the subframes and so forth. Okay. So this is a very typical morning. I came to Penang the other day to the Intel Pelican site the other day. I flew in a month ago. You'll be surprised how many workers for a very high-tech factory. They are having precast, almost IBS everything there, but they are still relying on workers. I was queuing up to go in as a subcontractor to do some electrical works. I wear a lot of hats. I was walking in there, and it took me an hour and a half just to queue up and get the pass to get in. 1.5 hours in the morning, and it was just like crazy. And this is like so many construction going on in that area. And then what happened was, then I asked my chaps, I said, hey, what happens when you take a break? Same thing, they have to reverse. And I said, where are all these thousands of workers going? Oh, they have to walk all the way the other side. And then when they come back after lunch, they have to queue up again. So while this is all happening, the mud and the bricks and the mortar, you cannot change. So this, even though for a very high IBS building in the Intel Pelican, you find that you still need a lot of workers. Okay. Can you help me to, this is not good. So this was actually prepared over COVID, that the construction industry has got 170 industries. So if you feel that you require transformation, where I wear my hat as the contractor, I have to transform 170 other trades below me. So you guys are just one of this. I think architect is written somewhere here. The architect here. Then you have to settle all of these people, that from the tiler to the transporter to the everything. We basically CIDB and master builders, we sat down together and we highlight this whole thing. Where you can see the disjoint in Malaysia is that when you talk about BIM, we are doing a lot of BIM now, right? Does the BIM get down to this level? It doesn't. So how do you then transform the industry where you're only doing a part of it and the full BIM, it doesn't translate down? First of all, those people don't even speak English. Most of them don't even have a proper education, let alone the sophistication of getting the BIM drawings and coordinating at the site. So hence, from the way we are going, it's virtually impossible. I can see that we can transform the industry. We will continue to do this while we are still we have issues to do with. I'm keep telling you all waterproofing, put RC kickers. By right, we should be going for precast and we won't even have these issues anymore. So if you go for IBS, you're going to solve all of those issues that I've highlighted for all these years, like, pond testing. You've seen my slides on waterproofing, how to do proper pond testings. I've come here and I've given trainings on waterproofing till I tired already. And I'm just saying that the one important step we can obliterate all of these issues. So this is my construction site. Normally, still all paper because the consultants issue me paper. They don't want to give me soft copies. Although you guys have got BIM, but I never get BIM. Tender, I don't get BIM. Construction, I don't get BIM. You guys say it's copyright. So although you guys do this, but I end up at the construction site like this. So how do I transform? Okay, so I'm just giving you the real Kesa Bena that it's in our face. We are facing it, but how do we transform? Okay? And this is what you get. And this is what you get. This one's from Penang, by the way. This photograph I specifically chose. You guys only sending me Char Kway Teow photograph, but I'm telling you my version of Penang. Okay, so these issues here, having all the buried pipes, okay? Leaks. Okay, I'm sure you guys know all this photograph. Okay. So meanwhile, this is the usual thing everybody want. Sui lah, go I what? In Hokkien, what is it called? I sui. Go I tua something, Yeah. I dare not say lah, a bit vulgar because in Zoom I don't know who's on today. Okay. So it's a race to the bottom on price, but yet we try to maintain quality and we try to maintain speed. Is that ever possible? You tell me. I don't think so. So looking at, I mentioned to you 1964, but we are just basically in this here talking about Industry 4.0. The government keeps putting slogans out. Oh, Industry 4.0, Industry 4.0. But it doesn't mean anything. They put the KPI box, but you and I are still dealing with mud and bricks. Okay, so when are we going to start moving towards this? With the automobile industry has literally in China is killing off the entire automotive industry in the whole world because by innovation. In a very short time, how long did China take to innovate the car industry? When Elon Musk was laughing in the YouTube video about, he said when BYD cars, he said, have you seen their cars? When he was in China and he was opening up his Tesla plant a few years ago, I think maybe 4 years ago, he was laughing in a YouTube video. He says, have you seen the BYD cars? How can you compete with me in Tesla? Today, he's not laughing anymore. It's just 4 years. So it is happening in the automotive industry. It is happening in e-wallets, Google Maps. Today we take it for granted. That's my phone, by the way. 2018, I was still using BlackBerry. Yeah. Don't laugh lah. I was still using BlackBerry in 2018. Okay, until the WhatsApp says, we cannot. My phone, I had to throw my phone away because WhatsApp killed my phone. It wasn't iPhone or Samsung. It was WhatsApps that killed my phone. A few people are laughing here, so I know you can relate to me. And then, of course, we talk about Grab and so forth. So in all around, we have transformed. We're living in this transformation. And in KL, we have, and even in Penang, from shop lots, we are now, who went to 118? Nothing, you went? Who went to 118? Well done. So how do you feel about 118? Right? It's another level, right? Yeah. So in a short 30 years, between shop lots to 118 and strata offices, 30 years, we transformed design. We didn't transform construction, because 118 is funded by who? The government, grandfather's money. So Tungku is fantastic, but he doesn't have to worry about budget. So it is not a good comparison to worry about. Okay. So herein lies between on-site and off-site. The innovation needs to go off-site. We cannot innovate at the site. So Willard, whenever you go a tender, right, you get conventional drawings, and then you tell them you want to innovate on-site. Too late. The innovation must come with you architects sitting with Willard, and you two together still cannot solve anything. Your property developer needs to decide that as well from day one. So it's not going to happen unless you guys work from design, consultants, material specifications. Then only you can start doing what this IBS is all about. It's not going to happen that because I sit on the part like Willard, I'm a contractor. I get all the drawings, and then when I look at the drawings, I can't modularize. I cannot. That's why companies like Stiflex are making money. The walls are going everywhere. It's like the heights are not modularized. It's all done to the whims and fancies of the client and the architect and the engineer. How can Willard and I innovate for you when the design is fixed? You will never get the best outcome. That's why IBS cannot get started. Okay. So what's the analogy between farming, hunting, as found by McKinsey in 2016? Not much change since. Why did I put these two photographs in? Because the construction industry is the least digitized amongst all of the industry here, between ICT, between you look at here, between media, professional services, finance, oil and gas, and so forth. Construction industry is the same as hunting and agriculture. So that's where we stand. We are right down here at the bottom. You see here, construction industry is together with agriculture and hunting. That's how much we have left the innovation. So we have not digitized. Although you say you guys got BIM, you guys got AutoCAD, you guys can do all the AI and the other USM today, but still mud and bricks. You saw all those issues. Okay. So constantly cost overruns, low labor productivity, and then very low R&D. So these are all the slogans, about what we should be doing, about the areas of what we should digitize and all. These again are so meaningless when I see all these papers that are being produced, because and our government being the parrot as they are, just mirror this. So CIDB just takes this and then they start producing the roadmap. So stuff that I've uploaded to you are all just mirror, and they're just parroting all of what people are saying. 5 trends that will shape the 5D generation, digital collaboration, Internet of Things, future-proof design, higher definition survey. All these nice words. It's probably happening in Singapore, but it's definitely not happening here. Right? So this is actually also taken from my MS-832 slides. I'm just going to take the evolution of Windows just in the context of where and how we have transformed, but it's not coming across the whole industry. So if you look at that here, in the 50s, 60s, there's an emphasis, Kok Chung, I think you're dead, right? And some of our baby boomers. I think in the 50s and 60s, our focus is mainly on natural light and ventilation, internal courtyards. And you talk about window and it's timber steel windows and so forth. In the 70s, only we started looking at some bylaws that kicked in, natural light ventilation, then we started going for mechanical ventilation. But now we moved into this, where you go into 118 and all the buildings in a lot in KL, you start looking into these issues. Laminated glass, performance glass, wider cladding systems, and so forth. I popped in this CIS 24, which is now mandated by KPKT, which is the topic of today's discussion, CIS 24. So in between these few years, you can see how fast the laws have crept in. But we are the prefabrication technology, although it's here, but all of the architects and even Willard, when I was having a dinner with him 2 nights ago, he was saying, cannot do. It's too expensive. It never work. It won't work. From your perspective, I agree with you. It won't work because you are right at the end of the you're right at the end of the value chain. You have no value in making that decision yourself. So neither do I have it. Because it has an image problem. It's associated with low cost. It's associated with cheap, prefabricated post-war housing shortages, inflexible uniform design. Architects hate that, right? They say, "Oh, this kind of precast, I'm limited by my design. You know this contractor, why your solutions are making me change my design to look like postmodern houses. Risk aversions, very high cost. You mentioned that to me, right? You say it's too expensive, you can't afford it, and then it's a mindset. So this is where we are today. And yet the government wants to push this. Just throw a circular out and say, look, it's compulsory today. So this was 1964. 1964, percolating flats, they were already doing this. Can you see the quality of the precast there? It's amazing. Nobody learned from that. You see this guy here, one of the, the building is totally, demolished now. You don't see that anymore. Okay. So all the precasts that we actually have so far that we do today, these are precasts. You know, a brick is a precast. It's just a very small unit, right? A brick is a precast. Piling is precast. Some of these beams, they are precast. Concrete block is precast. Except that we are so used to that small modularized precast. We have not moved to a larger precast solutions. So it's not that you can't do it. You don't build with mud and bricks now, right? You don't do a mud and bricks. In fact, we are moving backwards with 3D printing. 3D printing, we're doing it in situ now, right? So I've just taken some photographs, things in context about what the government 70% score tells you to do. This is what they expect you to do. And they just say, okay, now you have to comply with 70%. These are what they mean. Precast columns, precast beams, and then later, all these starter bars are, you're going to cast a slab, a popping slab over that. So this is what they want you to do. So this is the idea of saying, look, you're going to solve all your problems by going to this direction. Can you do this for your condominium projects? It's not easy. It's possible, but it's not very effective. Okay. And then from there you put the precast flooring. So this is what the government is going to score you on the 70%. And now the old architects, you need to know how to score this, to calculate structural beams, structural slabs, structural walls. You have to do the calculation before, and you will have to sign it that you say, I verify that my design of IBS meets this 70%. You need to know all the calculations. I attended the course in CIDB in 2000 and maybe 2012, 2013. I went for the course. I just get the course, but there was no solutions. Yeah. A few architects we went, yeah, Chan Xiao An and all those we went to the course. So I asked CIDB, has there been any change in the course? Do you have anything online? No online. So I can't even give you an online tutorial. So, it is where it is now. They've decided, that they just want to do more slogans and books. So this is how this is a precast wall, precast beam, and load bearing walls. So this is 100% precast here situations. Again, you know, the cost of this, just to have these solutions, you have to make this somewhere in a factory somewhere. You have to ship it, you have to transport it, you have to store it, you have to stack it, you have to hoist it, and then you have to put it in place. On top of that, then you have to grout everything together just to get your 70%. It's freaking, right? It's kind of like scary, right? That eventually we are forced into this. So you better make sure that your state government starts to think carefully before. So the powers that you guys have, you make sure that if you want to do it, you can still decide the destiny you guys want. So this is another picture. This is a precast column. Then, you know, I'm sure you can work it out. You guys smart enough to work this out. So this is done a lot in Penang, actually, in your factory areas. I see a lot of this now being done in your high-tech factories now. So it's not that you haven't done it. It is being done, except that most of us don't get involved with those kind of projects. But now the IBS scoring is for all types of projects. Yeah. So this is good. Precast staircases. So what does it mean? Architects, you cannot just simply choose floor to floor. Huh? You cannot just say, hey, the floor to floor contractor, you go and check on site. Huh? I just do floor to floor today 2.4, tomorrow 2.5, another day 2.6. And then, right? And then you decide that you balance out your amount of stringers because you didn't allow enough space for the landing. So you end up raising the riser again just to make sure that you meet the UPBL. So every stairs, every time every project, you have to start doing stair details. You know, if you go overseas, you will get murdered if you design anything that is non-modularized as far as floor to floor, because everything is modularized as far as, like, you go to England to do construction, all the architects there will tell you we just stick to modularized sizes. So it's the 300 by 300 by 300. Everything is modularized 300 by 300. The heights are all 2.4 because the cement boards, the precast columns, the precast, your gypsum boards, everything is modularized to that. And if you go and decide you want to do 2.450, you will die. You want to do 2.5, you will die. So you stick to what the industry already decided. But Malaysia here, do you guys do that? No, we every job you do, it's like just pick the height. Okay, so the height is almost gone reverse. Most of the time, the height we choose is because of how much space we have left in the staircase well, right? Yeah. So these are balconies, precast balconies. Why should you cast balconies on site when you can precast it? Hold on. I just want to go back one more. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I just want to, you guys know that I do go to Japan quite a bit now in this part of my life. And I just love the toilets, right? You know, everybody goes to Japan, you love the toilets, right? Yeah. So I actually visited Toto, the factory. And then I went to the website. You know that Toto today, in Japan, they don't build toilets like we do anymore, right? Put the brickwork, do the kickers, do the waterproof bond testing, and then do the tiling, and then drill all the holes to put your your pipes and everything. They have stopped doing that in Japan since 19 since 1963. So the same time that I show you the slides for Plaza Pavilion 1964, Japan had the Olympic Games there. And Taisei, yeah, I'm sure you heard Taisei, had such a short time to complete the hotels that they said, hey, we got to build these toilets differently. So they came up with the first prefabricated toilets that they could build and carry it and put it in place. 1963. And then from there, they had evolved. So, if you go to this, I'll share this link with you. Can you just maybe click that link, see whether it pops up? So these are the new ones that they use to domestic. These are the photographs that when I go to Japan, you go to hotels, you go to places to stay, you see this style bathrooms. You know, everything here, the wall, the ceiling, the floor, it's all prefabricated. And it's about approximately 700 kilos, 700 kilos. Everything is ready. You can, right? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I'll send you all the link. Please go to their total website and then you click under this number 7, the origins and the evolution of prefabricated bathrooms. If Japan can do it in 1963, today the Chinese are doing it for the Japanese. So it's no longer the Japanese doing, it's all made in China, but brought back to Japan. And Chinese have actually done their own prefabrication today. Have you all done a prefabricated bathroom like this here? Have you all even tried? Why don't you all do it? Money. Yeah, yeah, but the thing is that I believe that it is just a matter of mind. Yeah. Oh, what time is a tea break? Up to me, because I see a few of you guys are yawning. I'll finish the toilet first, okay? Then you all can do a toilet break. So this how you pick it up. This is steel frame. This is lightweight concrete. So 2 types here. That this one is not done in Japan. This is done in Europe. So no one does toilets anymore like we do. I don't know why we still do toilets like we do today. Right? And this is all this prefabricated bathrooms. Right? It's so much easier. So all you need to do is when you design your concrete, you just do a step down, you do a set down, right? And then the thing places it, then it's level. But if your building is existing, you've gone to Japan, you step up, right? Right. So I'm just saying that it's not something very difficult to do. And then every other maybe 10 years or 20 years, the bathroom gets damaged. They'll just take the whole thing, chuck it out, and then bring in another new one. So this is the quality today, you look at the quality today. No joke, it's really very, very nice. Yeah. Okay. And believe me, you don't have any issues with water ponding because everything is already built in. And balconies, this is the pictures from many of the properties in UK. They do precast balconies like this. So they just come and then they just bolt it on. Is this something that Nang can do? You all love balconies here, right?
You all had, okay, hello. Okay, hope you all had recharged well from the break, 15 minutes break just now. So let's get started. We welcome Anthony to continue his sharing.
You see the front row retired already. I think this is it's a bit loud. It's a bit loud. I want the softer one. I told you already, this is the retirement series. Next one is all the back row, so we'll go off soon. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is the actual plant by Gamuda. They actually built a full automated precast plant down south. You can always go and visit them. Oh, you decided to come out from retirement? Yeah. It's an amazing automation here. That means you just give them your BIM drawings, they can produce the panels. But what is the biggest hurdle here? Will it transportation? Yeah. So, and those pieces here, how heavy are they? So as you can see, this got gantry, right? Do you have that at your construction site? Yeah. So you can see straight away you solve one thing, but then you create another problem. And then if you say that if your project is in town, you got hardly any space for your lorries to get in. So made offsite is fantastic for quality, for control, for you to have less workers. You don't need to do plastering. You don't have to worry about, all the issues that I showed you earlier. But then you create another range of problems. But that shouldn't deter us. That's what I'm saying. I want this session not to feel so depressing now, okay? I was just telling, okay, I hope to end on a positive note. And I think you all should, because architects, I was just speaking to several people even last night, that architects are master builders. Don't forget, you are the master builder in the true sense. You don't forget that. You're not master aesthetician. You're not master KM specialist. You're not master, of making buildings look beautiful. You got to know that your fundamentals of an architect is really to build, to make sure that your buildability is there. Okay. Up. I don't know why it doesn't work. Yeah. So the word transformation is just changing government name lah. I'm kind of like I'm as far as the depressing skeptic part of it, the government is not going to help us. Whatever other situations, just going to put more roadblocks for you. I've always felt that the change must come from within the sector. So in a way, when they decided finally to say that I'm going to force this issue to the private sector, yes, immediately it's going to say, look, shit, I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, OSC, boy, sai, how can boy, sai, si liao, how can now the IBS go to OSC? Cannot, maybe at the end, we do CCC time, we can go and sign off. Sorry, too bad. Your immediate past president agreed to that. And none of us knew about it. Okay. So these are, remember I was telling you the other research I showed you about McKinsey and all that. So, CIDB went and paid millions of dollars for all these people to do more graphics and slogans and graphics. They like to do all these fantastic graphics that no meaning one. I don't know what that is. It's a walnut or a, and then this one is the green. I don't know what it is. So they like to do all this here, and then they throw a number here. National Construction Policy 2030. I mean, I showed you the earlier, right? 1964 up to today. So it just keep kicking down. Yeah. I'm not very pessimistic about this. I've read through all these documents in preparation of this talk. I forced myself to read it for your sake. Okay, yeah. So please, yeah, next time I come, don't just give me char kway teow. Honestly, it took me so long just to gather all this data. I've uploaded it, all of this, but they form at least the basis of the understanding of what the government has on their mind. And mostly they just copied it from Singapore. Okay. Go back, yeah. So you look at here, this industrialized building system, 2003, 2010. You open this document, this green one, I've actually given it to you. You can see that Pam was involved with that. PK Lim and several other of our senior members who are no longer with us, sadly. They passed on. That's the, so I hope you guys do something before you pass away. Okay. Because now you see here, okay, 2011, 2000. After 2015, they stopped doing it. So there's no more roadmap already. No more road already. They got roadmap here. Here got no roadmap. But after 2015, sudah tada. They straight away bang you to follow the one that's circular now. Yeah. So from 20, so 10 years later, they say, oh, boom. Okay, you guys got to do it now. So I'm just going to take you through what Singapore has done. There's a QR code here. Please go and maybe you guys want to scan it now. You can see it later. Okay. So these words here, can I go back? Yeah, this is this is the industry transformation maps in the BCA Singapore. So what BCA did was, when they started doing Conquest, I'm sure you heard, right? Conquest. Conquest was just one of the micro movers to bring the awareness of quality of contractors up. Then they move into doing the building good practice notes. So they started not only doing standards, but they say tiling standards in application of, say, waterproofing. So they don't just say like here, the Jabatan standard just say, oh, waterproofing must do this standard. They actually, Singapore actually took the manual and actually said, look, this is how you do waterproofing, how to do the testing, and how this is as part of the QLASIC, a part of the conquest there. So they slowly improve documents, step by step. And then they started training workers. Then they started to put in the digital transformation. I give you one very good, interesting way how Singapore settled the old HDB flat. Have you all worked in Singapore before? Anyone worked here? You're so lucky. Okay. You know, the earlier HDB flats was done by Liu Taita, the guy who is the HDB king. He basically was involved with all of the HDB flats, as you see, the old flats, the one with the corridors one, the really low cost looking one. And then you see the bamboo poles hanging out with hanging the clothes. So you know what they did? They say, look, these houses are still very good. But the requirements are 2 bedrooms are too small now. Singapore families now need a little bit bigger. They didn't tear it down, you know. So what they did was they went to Johor and they got a company there to do the precast rooms. So all they did was outside each one of the apartments, they built a footing, they piled near it, and then they casted the base, and then they just brought the whole room block and in front of that unit, and they just knocked the hall and became an extra room. And then they stacked it up according to the number of floors. I mean, that's the kind of things that Singapore has been doing for 15, 20 years. Yeah. And guess who did it for them? Our fellow Johorians, and then Malaysians who are working, who have set up company and they built it in Johor, and then they shipped it over. So just now, I think Kok Chung, you were telling me that even in Penang, right? Yeah, you have amazing technologists, people here who are providing solutions for the Europeans. It's here. The people who are doing the work and the innovations are here, but we are not supporting it. We're not embracing that here. And it's in our backyard. I'm sure, you know, we can arrange for another session where we talk about solutions. Because today I can't give you solutions. It's too big a topic. I really want you all to, in fact, start to break into groups to say what can Penang do, you know, for terrace houses, for you know, apartments and things like that. Now, often architects tend to think that when I want to do IBS, I want to do that top 2% of the projects that I do. That means my premium projects. So you straight away say, hey, but it's not very creative. I can't do all, you know, it's so limiting. Forget about IBS solving your premium projects. Just use IBS to solve your normal back-end projects first. Your terrace houses, you know, your apartments and your basic condominiums and all that. Start with that. Because that's what pays the bills. That's what is the 90% of what we're doing is that. Don't just use IBS for the purposes of solving all of your creative issues. Those you can go conventional. You know, then as the industry gets better, then you will be able to start saying, well, let's work between simplifying buildability and yet modularization, and yet eventually you're going to get the creativity coming in. That takes time. Do you know the first generation handphones? They're so basic, right? Black and white screen, no, you know, all the things are so basic, but it takes time to evolve. So 60 years, 1964 to today, I'm 60 now, and you showed the percolating flats today. No one has actually done better than percolating flats. Okay. So I think this I'm just going to highlight 2 projects in Singapore that's completed. In fact, I approached the architect to come to KL to do a paper for us, but I you know, I have not been able to do that. It'd be nice if they can come and do a paper on this, but apparently they had some confidentiality clauses about some of the proprietary systems that were solved. Yeah. So they actually built, so today the term is, instead of doing precast walls, precast slabs, but this is for housing. housing accommodation. You wouldn't be using this for your factories and so forth. But so now it seems like, the way to do is to do the entire unit. It's heavy. So each one of these can weigh several tons, 5, 6 tons. So hence you see the tower crane is like a big, humongous tower crane. And of course, the size and the units, as you can see, the insides are quite okay for apartments. So this is how they do at the factory. So internally, they would have casted, they would have done the windows, they would have done the tiling, wiring, everything would have been done. And then it gets moved to the site and it's carried and put in place. It seems very easy, because for every time you solve this, you're going to create new problems. So those are the things that I wanted to share, hoping I can get more data. But I think they are held with confidentiality. But I'm just saying Singapore has done this. So they create high-rise. So this is the world's tallest PVC, okay? So PVC means what? It's volumetric construction. That means they create the box. It's not ideal. If you ask me personally, yes, it's very innovative, but it's carrying air up. It's carrying air up into the sky. It's very heavy, but it solves its issues. Okay? So this is the site. You can see how big the cranes are. So here they just cast the concrete. And many of these were actually done in Johor initially. The Johor team actually did one of the companies that innovated, if I'm not mistaken, is Eastern Pretech. They started doing bathroom units for Singapore and the room units for Singapore. But eventually these are too big to transport from Johor to Singapore. So they decided to do a lot of the casting in Singapore. Okay. Then you can see, so all these formworks are being done. The rebars being done, services and all that are being casted in. And this is the picture of how the windows are being installed. So they are being installed in very comfortable environments. It's being controlled. The QA/QC can be controlled. And then from here, you can see there's going to be the ledges, the sealants are all done. Obviously, they might not do the paint, but they may put in the undercoat paint depending. But internally, skim coat done, wiring, everything is completed. Sealing is all completed. If you had the precast bathroom, you could just pop it in already. So this actually helps. So this actually helps a lot with even claims. Progress certification architects. The moment it's up, right, you're almost certified 80%. It's all done. Yeah. So in fact, I was talking to Dr. Tan Lokman. I said, even with this, I'm not happy with that because the pipes are casted into the concrete. The wiring is casted in the concrete. 20 years later, what happens? How do you do life cycle? So does architects here, anyone there to do one that services are exposed like this and get away with it? I don't know. I'm just saying, are we ready to go to the next level of buildability, life cycle, maintainability? We are okay with that for restaurants and universities and commercial buildings. But when it comes to home, my God, we are like, cannot change. We got to conceal all the services. The walls got to be smooth, electrical cables got to be all hidden in. Electrical cables, not so bad. You can still pull it out and change, but piping is a problem. You've seen the photographs I showed to you earlier, pipes are. So again, it solves one problem, but it doesn't solve the long-term issues of embedded services. Next slide. Okay. So you can see how heavy that is. Okay. So this one, screeding, waterproofing, tiling, sanitary, furniture, window frames, and windows have gone in. So this is the inside, the completed unit. I think it's wonderful, right? It's not, you don't have the beams because everything is just load-bearing wall. I think this one you can get 80 to 70%. Next slide. This next one is Oh, okay. This is the largest PPVC so far in the world. 4,098 PPVC modules. So it's quite a large development there. Yeah, so these are some of the odd pieces. I took all these photographs from the internet. I didn't have access to their data. So everything here is not proprietary information. I just want to show you a video that I did with Dr. Tan Lokman, Benapuri and Dr. Tan Lokman. It was an ideas submission for CLAF. I think it was before COVID. I can't remember the exact year. So we were just there was this ideas on affordable housing, which I think this topic has been spoken a lot about, making housing more affordable and not creating slums. So this was one of the ideas that we created, and thanks to Dr. Tan, I was just a contractor, and I was asking him, how can we innovate and start and look as a developer as well. So we are trying, but then it never took off because there wasn't a situation where I could do it. But ideas again are I think are important. Can we press play on this? Sorry, this we are trying to do digitization, but this was a staff that used to work for Dr. Tan. She's now opened her own firm. There's no volume, is it? Can you put our... So you can see here, this is just to simulate the typical apartment now. Setbacks from the boundary, and then you just kind of like design the ground floor, design the typical floor, and then you just repeat, and then you just design the roof. So this is what our typical apartments blocks tend to be. Okay, so so then you start creating this kind of solutions. Okay. All this graphics was actually produced by Dr. Tan's own media team. So these are all the results that we get today. Penang, I think you all are not immune to this, right? So the idea was that we look at the module, we look at one module like the PPVC module, right? But as far as design is concerned, so exactly the same modules that she was stacking up now, but what happened was that we now use, Dr. Tan was saying, how about we use the non-setback model? That means you build up to the boundary, and then you then created interspace, just like what Spain is doing in Madrid and in Barcelona and things like that. So as you can see, it was just literally just forming from the same amount of density, but you create something much more pleasing as far as design is concerned. Okay. Okay, just a short video to just let you know, we also, as a Benapuri, we also try to innovate as a developer main contractor, purely from ideas. So to say that the PPVC module, that one module of one block, as you showed this now, just by stacking it differently. But I took it even a step further to say, look, do we even need to build permanent homes? Can't we just build that with materials that's going to last for 30 years? That means that module is no longer solid concrete. Maybe it could be built so something that fire still okay, structure still okay, but in 30 years, the thing just breaks down, and then finally you just take everything away, you start again with a new site, requirements may change. I mean, I look at Design Village in Batu Kawan. It's like a bit like what they're doing. They build very cheap, and then when everything else is built up, then they can tear it down. So that is trying to kill 2 to 3 birds with one stone, not just by saying PPVC, but PPVC done in a different setbacks, different density, different design. And you may not even use permanent concrete materials. You may use materials that will just die off in 25, 30 years. And then you start again. cheap, fast, and these are urban homes. Where urban home, who wants to stay in the city forever? You might stay in the city for maybe up to 35 years old. You get married, you want to have children, you may move out to the outskirts a little bit. Homes are a little bit better and bigger. But if you're going to live in a city, you want to go and work them hard for 10 years to make some money, you're willing to just put up with it. This could be kind of directions that we could face. So just, Penang, think something that you could think out of the box. Okay. Can I just, oh, I'm not sure whether Rian is in already. He's in? He's in, right? Okay. I just want to, I just want to introduce him first. Yeah. Thanks. Can I just, can I stop this? Yeah. Okay. I've showed you Singapore projects. I've showed you projects from Japan, toilets and things like that. But you know that, have you heard of Rian? Rian is based in KL. So this is him. He's a director of TKCA Architects. He was, 2016, he won the Asian Young Designer Award. Fantastic achievement. He's always thinking out of the box. He's actually one of your council members in PAN. I hear feedback sounds. Where is it coming from? Who has off? Okay, thanks. Hey, hold on. Let's go back. I have his slides, Yeah. No, meaning that I just want to continue with those slides. What happened? Yeah, okay. So he's actually done. Oh, I got lost again. I'll start all over. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're just gonna have to scroll along. Yeah. So he's actually done the first PPVC project in Malaysia. So so if you think that you can't do it, he's done it. All right. I don't know the challenges he faced, but the first thing he told me was it took him a lot longer during design and resolution to work out with the contractor, almost double the time. But after construction happened, it was very fast. So overall, it was a lot faster. And he didn't do any high rise. It was a 2-story building, of which he won a PAM award recently. So I've got some slides from him. I'm going to share the slides, and then I'm going to ask him to come on to answer some questions for your help. Is that okay? Right. Yeah. Right. Can I just move on to the slides first? Not that one. Go down. Okay. So this is the project is called Skyblocks Housing. So these are his actual picture. Can you see it's quite narrow? Okay. Yeah, but it's it's a first attempt in Malaysia. So this is actual factory that was involved. So very similar to the photographs I showed to you in Singapore. Yeah. Next slide. So he's just trying to explain, what it meant by a PPVC. PPVC just means he casts the all the items together and it gets lifted up. Okay. Next slide. Oops, what's going on?
Anthony, the Zoom didn't show
Okay,
the
thank you.
slide.
Next slide. I need to scroll through. Yeah. Can I just continue? Oops, what's going on? It's not stable, is it? Sorry, Zoom people. Okay. Getting there. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay. All right. Next slide. Okay. So this is the detail that he put forward. You can see traditional PVC. So traditional, you can get started quite quickly. The construction stage is there. But for PPVC, he spent quite a bit of time just resolving all the details. 30 years ago, when I first came back from Australia, I worked for a company called MBF. Have you heard before? I'm sure in Penang you got some MBF building. Yeah, MBF used to hold about 10% of the property market. And at the time, MBF started and they joint venture with an Australian guy to do lightweight precast constructions for the apartments that they had. In about 2 years, I was involved with almost 40,000 precast homes, mainly in KL, Malacca. We didn't do anything in Penang. And I was involved in this part here. That means doing the drawings, actually creating every drawing for each wall. Back then, AutoCAD just started. We were still having a hybrid between manual drafting and AutoCAD. I spent the first AutoCAD station was 40,000 ringgit. That time we didn't have printer, we had plotters. The company did, I'd say about 40,000, the joint venture under MBF. But it was very challenging because the architects on the job just created the design and then threw it to us as the contractor and say, oh, now go and build precast. So I had to work solutions to solve a design that was done separately. I think the company eventually didn't go very far because, you know, there were a lot of issues with mindset. And my team, my fellow teammates went off and the company, and they all went off. So my friends started working for City Precast. So I have friends in City Precast. Some friends moved towards other companies. So that's where it is today. So we are like the relic, the dinosaurs who started doing it. And today I'm like reminded of all the things, and we are still back to kind of like the same thing. Okay. So this part here is where Rian actually had to go through. But you know, he's the new generation architect and he was willing to do that. But again, he also has to cari makan, right? His fees and everything. So it's not easy that you can't just do basic schematic building plan drawings and then you go for tender and hope that then the contractor you go and solve everything. Once you do PVDC or any precast, you got to do a lot more detailing as consultants with the contractor early. So that's the investment that you do. But on the other hand, you have less issues during construction. Your site meetings are a lot less issues. Your defects are a lot less issues. So it starts somewhere. So his story is that. Okay? He's on, right? Can I change the slide? Okay. So this was the process. These are his actual next slide. Okay. So this one is the setting out. So you can see the actual setting out is traditional. So this is still Bangla workers piling, casting, using in situ. So this one doesn't change because you're responding to the environment. Okay, so even if you go to your Pelican here and all your high-tech industry, this one always get you. So how do you coordinate all these pipes and all the services here when you whatever things? So that requires a lot more coordination because you can't make a mistake now. You got to have to cast it and get it done right one time. Okay. So all these services have to go in. So after that, you know, they have to do the installation. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the placement. So you can see some of the alignment bars that had to be put in place. Okay, next slide. And this is some of the props that they had to do while the construction was being. So you can see here they have pre-finished the edging of the windows with the PVC trim. This is entirely an architectural thing, but they didn't put the paint and the finishing on the walls. But primarily you can see the walls are very flat, right? They're all solid concrete. Next slide. This is the roof. So this is all done because you can see the roof itself is all concrete and there's, you know, openings for rainwater downpipes. And then here their installation of the roof over some of the opening areas. Okay, y'all follow? Right, so it's not really complicated. And this is the final result. This actual photo, this is not the rendering. You can see that because nobody will render in the bomba. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so this is just the one stacking on top of the other. That one is there's 3 floors. Next slide. Yeah, so this is what you see on the inside. Next slide. Next slide. So you can see it's quite narrow, but then again, this is just a design intent. You could do it wider, you could do it narrower. You could do that. That's just a design intent because this is meant to be like one of this accommodation. Yeah. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Slide. Okay. So good for him. He did win an award. Can I go back to the Can I go back to that one that has the video all the way to the beginning? Yeah. Okay, can we play this? Yeah. Can we put the yeah? I don't want the sound, but this one the sound is a bit annoying. Yeah. So I'll just take you through. So this is basically the yard that cast the concrete. This is in Malaysia, now. So you can see the formwork system is almost like a jumping form, and it's quite a complex detailing and so forth. So they lift this up. So this one doesn't have a floor yet. Okay. It's taken to here and then it's moved towards the finishing yard. So it's moving into here. So it's now all the services are being put in. They are running the water pipes along the skirting, so along the ceiling and then over here you can see this is all done. And then the balcony is also precast in, and then they lift that in place. So this is a 3-story section. The windows. Okay, thank you. What do you think of that? It's possible, right? Can you build terrace houses with this technology? I'm sure you can do that, huh? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think, like said, I don't have all I haven't done if you do elemental comparison between conventional wall and precast wall, this is going to be a lot more expensive than this. But you have to see the entire delivery ecosystem. The issues we face often is that when the QS comes along, he says, wow, the wall very expensive. They'll start comparing element to element. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah. And that's the direction you're gonna go. You're never gonna solve anything because the plus points you get is that no one counts for waste. Waste is always built into the cost. Is amount of waste that you have. And also some subcontractor end up losing their pants. Come on, you know that, right, Willard? The end day, when you talk about the rates that are given to you, you know that at the end day, those rates are not realistic. It's actually costing you more than what it actually does. That's right. We say like IP, everything they also want, right? So when you finally do a new technology, so everybody is going to start giving you the real cost, but they didn't give you the real cost doing conventional, which is all that troubles that we are going through. And the cost to you going to the site more, having longer site meetings, having more problems with disputes and so forth. So the true cost is not worked out. Okay. All right. I'd like to just call on Rian. Can you put him onto the Zoom platform here so that we can see his face? Yeah. He's so kind to I mean, without the char kway teow, I have to pack for him. So can somebody help me to pack some nasi kanda? I promise to bring it back for him. Hi, Rian. Can you
Hi, good
put
morning,
Rian
everyone.
a bigger screen and then raise the volume? Yeah. Just can you put him on the? I don't know how you're gonna do that. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Rian. No, you
Hi,
have to
good
unmute.
morning.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, and well done for the award that you received for Skyblocks. I'd just like to ask you a few questions of the bad. And I didn't ask him these questions yet. I was just going to surprise him. Can you tell us who in your team initiated the PPVC?
Actually, the PVC is not our initial idea. The brief was given is a temporary housing for our project. Our first initial idea is actually our pitching project for this competition or the project is actually using shipping container. We tendered this project during COVID, which you all know that COVID time, the shipping container price sky high. So there's a lot of issue on the logistic and all that. So when the price go high, we couldn't proceed the project. But our client still want this project to be jalan, to be, to be completed as soon as possible because they see this as a trend in future. So then we started to research about precast housing to replace our so-called shipping container housing. And then PVC come into our mind. Indeed, after this research, we find out like what you have shown to everyone just now that most of the PVC supplier, or we call it NSC contractor, are based in Johor, and they all ship to Singapore. Of course, because of the profit and all that. And from there on, then we do more research to find out where else does this PVC contractor can help us. And finally, we actually find out two contractors who willing to work with us in Selangor, Malaysia. That's how we actually get the thing go on.
So Rian, when I saw from the photographs in the casting yard, the formwork seems to be customized and they look quite expensive. So what was the motivation that led to this particular subcontractor willing to invest? Obviously your volumes are quite low, but the total formwork that they built looks pretty scary. It's like, right? Will it look quite expensive, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so for this,
so what was their motivation in this?
So for this contractor, he also want to explore something new because like you mentioned earlier on, this is the first PVC in Malaysia, particularly in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur. Now, if you work in Johor or Singapore, there's plenty, but no one done it in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor yet. So for this subcon, this is basically his first PVC project. And maybe the volume is not so big compared to high-rise, but we have 28 units of PVC, which is a sufficient amount for them to do the formwork and all that. That's why then they're willing to work with us to do these PVC units.
And now tell us about the difference between what you experienced when you went for PVC in this. Obviously, it's the first one. What the kind of challenges that you face, and that with those challenges that you've overcome, and would you also do it again?
I think the biggest challenge that we experience is that there's no standard in Malaysia yet. As in, when you do a normal construction, along concrete and brick walls, the engineer will actually, or the CIDB have the guideline on the requirement of the verticality or the surface waviness and all that. But when we come to precast, you also have the standard. But when you go to PPVC, then there's no standard. So when there's no standard, we don't know how to justify the defect, or we don't know how to control the quality of the outcome of the PVC later on, whether we should accept or not accept. So end out, I have to study all the requirement, or I would say additional study for PVC construction based on BCA standard, which is from Singapore. So there's a lot of research had to put in before this thing get it done. And when we do this research or this study, right, we don't even know this PVC gonna jadi or don't know. So it's like an extra investment for this research, which we are not sure whether this can be proceed or not. But luckily, we still proceed at the end of the day. So there's a lot of research and study and design had to be doing this before the construction. The construction is only 8 months, but we also take up to 6 to 8 months extra before the construction to study how the piping works, to study how everything work together or in terms of so-called beam or IBS system, because everything is precast inside. And like you say, it's a customized system. So we have to make sure everything is precise. It's just like a Lego. because all the unit is joined together. So if let's say we don't study properly, they cannot join at the end of the day, then all the unit go out already. So there's a lot of stress and time had to be spent at the beginning of the stage on this project.
So would you do it again?
Now I have experience, of course I will do it again. It's saving time on construction. I only go to site after I count the site report. I got only 17 site report for the entire project. This is the lesser one. During the construction or the erection of the PVC unit is so fast. 1 week we done basically think 50 units. It's very fast for the construction, or I would say the installation of the units. The one
How
that
did-
slow down is the corridor, the thing that is common part.
How did you integrate BIM in this, or did you even integrate it at all? And how did the BIM flow down to the other subcontractors or contractor?
So we started with the beam design on the unit itself. And then after that, we have the basic already. We have to work with different supplier initially to understand how the piping work inside the slab. After we have identified all that thing, we have a basic one. We would then brief the tenderer, our requirement. They would then have to submit the shop drawing or the design to us to get approval. So there's a different way of doing this project on the other way around, because they have to submit the shop drawing in advance.
We got somebody who's gonna throw cold water, spoil sport. We got a contractor here. Is a nasty guy. He doesn't know his place. Willard, you have a question?
Hi. Just want to double check. Project.
Yeah, you better speak to it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, for your entire project, for that sheer project size, right? What's your cost per square feet? Don't go by element, just per square feet.
I don't think I can share this out. It's PNC.
In other words, no,
It's almost the same as a conventional construction cost,
Okay.
if you ask me, but it's faster.
it's okay. There you go. Right now, another question is: did the main contractor lose money?
It lost a lot of money, if you ask me. I mean, based on my experience, because you see, this project is a bit different because we called it co-living housing. At the same time, we have the common area. We actually design a few common lounge, a big area, and then we have corridor and all that, which is done by the main contractor. The main contractor work is all doing the common area, but 70% of the work is the PVC unit. So he actually cannot control the NSC, which is the PPVC contractor. So there is like a pro and con over this. You only do 30% work, but you're the main con. 70% is the NSC work.
Okay. Now, one important question I want to ask you: having learned the lessons from PVVC, if you are given another chance, how would you do it differently, given that you would like to do PVVC again? As far as from an architect's point of view, your design and the way you manage the information and also the tender and the contract.
After this, actually, we are still developing the design with other client. My biggest take away from this project is we should maximize whatever thing that we can do with PPVC. As you mentioned earlier, PPVC is mainly on logistic. We can actually maximize the size based on the rolling size. This is first thing. So I don't have like, weird size and all that. I can maximize it until the rolly that can fetch them around. That is first thing. Second thing is on type of finishes and the internal sanitary way and or piping and all that. After this project, we actually find out there's a lot of other sanitary way or other equipment that can come in and work together. Our first round was so rushed, and during COVID time, we don't have so much resources. So we have some limited resources to work around. So our design become very not so efficient, if you ask me. But after this project completed, there's a lot of other supplier and contractor approaches tell us that, you can do this way, you can do that way. And then from there, we find out that there's more possibility for us to improve this project.
Next question. Go ahead.
So can we go back to cost again? So let's say in this case, whereby we have this like interim certification as well as this, let's say if it's for housing, and then you have this progress cert. So because of, if you look at the speed of the construction, whereby it's done at the offsite, and then do you foresee, let's say, contractors, will they be able to put part of the initial investment? Because I think probably if it's not done on the site, and then the construction will be so fast, and then maybe the initial investment might be high. So can contractors do you foresee if that proceed on, when contractors will be able to absorb part of the investment or not?
I think this issue, this question is not a big issue, because since the beginning, all the contractor or the tenderer are briefed on this project already. They already know that the timeline of the construction and how fast would be the PVC unit on deliver on site. So in terms of cash flow, they all understand how the project run. We have done a lot of tender clarification before we start the project, even though this is a little bit different curve, but they all aware of this. So there's no major issue when we come to tender, and for the tender the construction cash flow after this, not a major issue.
I think just to also add, if you see the photographs there, the main contractor will have very little waste. And he could claim materials offsite. You see what I'm saying? So in fact, as far as cash flow is concerned, it's a lot better, because I know as a main con, I have so little waste, and my workers are easier to manage because they're all under the cover, and they are working in more comfortable conditions. But when I ship it to the site, I can even claim offsite, and then when I bring it to the site, I just install it. I can claim an installation fee. Yeah. So I think cash flow is actually much better. Go ahead.
Since it's haven't done on site, so when it comes to this your SMP agreement, the developer with the purchaser, let's say this housing units, so will the developer able to claim from the purchaser?
Yeah, I think
Okay, for my
ahead.
project, it is different because this is a core living housing. We don't sell, we rent it out.
Well, I've built a lot previously. I said I was in MBF. Back then, the SMP stage certification was the same. So I remembered approaching KPKT back then and say, look, hey, when I put up a precast wall, I can claim up to services, including windows, because I specified aluminium windows. So, wow, my boss was very happy. They say, hey, the architect is willing. But architect was saying, hey, I did not sign, How can I sign 4 stages one time? They mean concrete wall, concrete frame, brick wall, plastering, M&E services, and windows. 5 stages at one time. Yeah, I mean, look, today, I think KPKT are more aware that, whenever that KL, even we do formwork systems, the moment the formwork systems are stripped, you can claim quite a few stage already. Yeah. Any other questions for online? Are there any questions online that you have for Rian? Yes.
Hello. This might be a stupid question, but who signs, with regards to CCC, who signs the Boranji for the structural work? The proprietor engineers or our engineers?
Rian?
For this project, because we have some common area, we have common lounge, we have corridor, all that. So our engineer is the one who signed.
Speaking about engineers, do you think the engineers is part of the solution or part of the problem here? M&E and CNS as well. He's being
I would say
polite here.
solution lah.
He's being
We
polite,
work
you can tell.
together. I would say it's a solution because without them I couldn't complete this project. I rely on them on all the piping, the conduit.
This
Because
guy is a
if
bloody
you guys get
politician.
to visit, you can barely see all the exposed piping. We actually work together very, very closely to make sure all the piping is concealed. Even in the common area, we actually design some shaft within the PVC so that the rainwater pipe, your hydrant pipe, your hose shield pipe, all that can be hide inside. So there's a lot of coordination really required for project like this.
So are you all more motivated now or you're feeling more depressed? What score would you get if you do a building like this, Rian, under the IBS score?
We score almost 95%. And
there
just
you
for
see.
information for this project, we have obtained 85 Q6 score.
So the immediate past president wasn't that wrong, lah.
Okay, this is a comment for a lot of people who don't know. I think Penang is very fortunate. We have one of the biggest IBS contractors in Penang. You take the North-South Highway, going down KL, you look towards the right hand side. It's called SIBS, Scandinavian Industrialized Building System. They are building so many things, and none of us are using, like Anthony is saying. And it's quite unfortunate because the bigger developers who are building over 50,000 square meter should be taking up this challenge.
Yeah.
And logistics, they are here. They are next door.
Yes.
Basically.
So there you go. I mean, I would love to invite them to come in, but I think because I really didn't want Penang to dive into solutions yet. I just you guys have to kind of like simmer down and absorb where we are today, because jumping into solutions as far as construction solutions is not the way to go. The way to go is to change mindset, to say, look, we can do this. And I'd like the architects to start leading the way and not just being led into a solution that has already been there. Because, these are the early movers as far as responding to what the industry wanted overseas or in Singapore or something. I think you guys need to really start rethinking and form some kind of like a happy working groups. You guys can, after today's session, don't listen to negativity, because I think it's time to embrace this as what Rian has done. In fact, he embraced this, and I think with that, can we all give Rian a really congratulatory round of applause there? Thank you very much, Rian. Okay, Rian, do you have any last words? Or you have many more words to come? When are you going to showcase to us your next PPVC project?
I'll give you guys update, and we will have some completed video. I will try to show to you guys when this is complete. Thanks.
Do you prefer to come to Penang yourself?
Yes, definitely, if I have a chance later on.
Okay, so there you go. I got the next speaker for you.
You'll be next year.
So unseen. Okay, thank you, Rian. Bye.
I'd like to put in another word.
Okay.
We actually fortunate to, in our presence, we have Slim House owner here, architect Chin, who is also doing modular houses. Maybe I can invite Mr. Chin to
Sure,
say
please. Yeah.
what's on his concept of
Here's our next sponsor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chong. Basically, my company started. Hello. I started my company probably about 10 years ago. It was basically a very, very terrible struggle, 10 years. And actually, when I received the email regarding this particular seminar, I was immediately drawn to it. I registered immediately. So from the before that, what my company does is I as an architect, I have a small firm. I used to have a small firm. So I designed a lot of bungalows for different kind of clients. So every client had a different design. So as our speaker has actually raised, the problem is that every client has got different requirements. And every time we actually design something, we face problems with like what he has actually mentioned on site, which is worker problems, increasing costs, wastage, and a lot of things that we see the contractors do, which very much we would like to control, but it's really out of our control. So what happened was I got tired of designing for individual contractors, and I went to look at something modular. So I concentrated on residential. I was woken up by, I was sleeping actually. I was actually procrastinating over what I would do in my career. So I was awakened by one, fortunately awakened by one uncle on a flight. He asked me as an architect what I have contributed to society. So I was really embarrassed because I couldn't answer him. I couldn't think of anything that I had contributed to society. So he told me about the problem of housing globally and how expensive it was in Malaysia, in Laos. I was on a trip to Laos. And in Australia today, housing is a very big problem. It's getting way too expensive for people to buy houses. Everywhere in the world, global. Global is actually a global problem. So I went modular. I went simple. I designed boxes. I went into structure. So my approach is very much different from the solutions we have actually seen today. I went into micro solutions, meaning to say I design individual components, which very much is an analogy to a box of Lego pieces. So I wanted it to be easy to carry. One of my components can be carried by two guys. So it took me 8 years to come out with this solution. I worked with an engineer. I'm not so politically correct, but the engineers really frustrated me. So the thing is, I relied on myself. I did research online. I referred to the standards. I went towards steel construction, because bolts and nuts, structural steel was the way to go for me, because everything was definite. I could actually select specs, certified specs, bolts, nuts, right up to the bolts and nuts, top settings, everything. So I designed my own details. I passed them on to the engineer. I asked him to do an analysis of the structural stability, whether it complies, safety factors. He signs them off. So basically, I'm designing all the detailings. So if you were to ask an engineer today, what would be the torque settings for probably an M20 bolt on probably a simply supported I-beam, he would not be able to tell you. I don't know about you guys, but the thing is, my engineer couldn't tell me. Right? I had to actually go straight to the books, hit the books, and then find out for myself what was the torque settings for individual sizes of bolts. M20, M8, M12, M20. What is the torque setting? And different bolts have got different specs, right? Every spec, we've got marine grade bolts and stuff like that and so forth. So I got lucky. After probably about 5 years, I submitted my proposal to MIDA. I went probably, it took me a year, and they finally recognized the proposal, and they awarded my company pioneer status. Right? They were actually very helpful in a way, but the thing is, let me just state today that my main hurdle was not to actually come out with the product. My main hurdle today, after I have actually come out with my product, is to deal with authorities. The federal government has got very big ideas. Now, when the federal government actually assists us in coming out with the products, and they did a lot of mentoring. When my products were actually ready for rollout, we submitted plans, and then that's where the big hurdle comes in. You have a lot of ridiculous requirements by state authorities, which are really, really backwards. They are not, we can have very fast moving technology, building technology, which we can use. But the thing is, the local authorities don't understand what kind of technology we're using. And that is where the block is. We've been trying to actually tell a story and to explain the Penang State authorities what we're trying to do. We're trying to build affordable homes with our technology, which we're selling. Where else can you get a terrace house, 900 square feet terrace house, which is very much bigger? It's a landed property terrace house. We're selling for $295,000 on the island, right? We proposed that to the state government. We submitted. We came out with all sorts of requirements, for affordable housing. So my message is, if we can actually, number one, as architects, like you have said, we must come up with our own solutions. We cannot import. The moment we import, their royalties, the cost is there. Foreign technology does not necessarily mean it is actually suitable for use in Malaysia, because we have our own conditions, we have our own design requirements. So you have to come up with your own solutions, work with the contractors, and own the technology. Because as you said, we are master builders. We cannot simply just use technology by foreigners. We just import them in, we work with them, and we don't know what the hell they're doing, because we still, at the end of the day, technology still belongs to them. Where is our value? So we design, but where is our value? We do not own the technology itself. We cannot export that technology because we are importing that technology. So how does that actually benefit Malaysia? We are architects. So that is my first message, is that I've actually spoken to Mr. Chong that we should have a working group actually. My factory, I'm willing to work with any architect who can come up with we are now building a catalog of components. I am willing to open up to any architect who is willing to work with me and come up with new components. We can keep on cataloging them. As you sell the components, new designs, you get a commission, a percentage out of your own design. Because the thing is, we got to help each other bring up the practice itself. Regain the title of architects as master builders. That's what I'm trying to do now. And I think that's about all. I think I shall pass it back to.
There are some obstacle with the local authorities. Can you elaborate that a little bit? Is it regard to the structural issues or regard to the UBBL or what? Thank you.
Testing. Okay, the many areas which I was referring to, the obstacles. One, you have PBA, you have DMB, you have the planning department, and etc. So one of it, for example, if you are designing, do you know that actually, if you're designing a scheme in Balik Pulau, if you want to design an affordable home, of course, on the island, it's going to be Balik Pulau, right? Land there is still cheap, right? So now that is the only place where you can get land for probably less than $60 per square foot. So now, PBA is supposed to plan our state water security, water supply security, right? So now when we actually submitted the plans, one of the comments was, okay, our piping pressure is low there. You gotta build us a tower for 139 units. They asked us to build a goddamn tower there. How does that help the affordable housing scheme that the state so promotes for all the private developers to actually do? You know how much a water supply tower costs? It probably is going to be over $1 million today if it's you're talking about 100 over units. Huh? The other thing would be when you're dealing with bomba, for one thing. In Australia, a 2 cm thick cementitious wall, double layer, probably once a single layer would have a fire rating, which is even better than a 9-inch wall. So if you're using that material in Australia, as long as your material complies with the fire rating, if you want 2 hours, 4 hours, as long as the material complies, you can use it as your party wall. Right? Over here, your UBBL states, what does it state? Your party wall. 9-inch. What material has it got to be? Brick or concrete, right? So I specified multiple layered wall, right? Total fire resistance is more than 4 hours. It's over nearly 6 hours, right? It's better than a 9-inch wall. You know what the Bomba guy said? Refer to the book. I want it to be concrete or brick. So where does that leave us? Are we supposed to embrace modern technology when we have authorities who are actually still living up in the trees and thinking that bricks and walls are better than modern materials? So I have actually spoken to MIDA and I'm actually trying to get a working group formed with MIDA and CIDB to actually address issues like, we could be architects going way ahead and then embracing modern technology, but our authorities are still, still dreaming away in the background. So as I feel today, there is a huge disjoint between the federal and the local state government. I'm feeling very pessimistic about this situation. I hope that
What, sorry, your name, huh? What Gerald is facing, I faced 30 years ago. Same things. The thickness of party walls, bomba. And then the other one, of course, my favorite are the engineers. Single rebar cannot, double rebar only can, BS standards and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever he's facing, I faced 30 years ago and I gave up. Yeah. You want to fight bomba? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move on. I mean, like I said, I didn't want y'all to look at solutions because that is the next level. But, it's coming together and looking at these issues and solving it together. And I'm telling you, architects are the most innovative people. When all as what Dr. Tan say, when all the engineers have died, architects will rise. Okay. Can you just play the video? Yeah. Okay, I'm sure some of you have seen this. I've collected some of my favorites. You've seen this, right? Can I have the audio? Can I play the audio? This is from the Broad group, from China. So they speak English now, okay? Don't play. Can you make it louder? What happened? It doesn't play. Very good video. Just have a look at it slowly, okay? Then I'll send you all the link. I have 3 videos that I'm not going to play for all of you, but I'll share with you all. That building, that whole block took 1 day to build. 100% stainless steel. And the air is equivalent to ICU air. Okay, yeah, because that company, they involved with filtration. So I've seen the videos that has animation, a slightly easier animation. And it comes as a container, and then they just flip opens, and everything just built. There's not a single piece of cement or concrete after they've done the slab. Everything else is just clipped on and opened up, and they can do that in 1 day. And that is 100% stainless steel. The whole frame is stainless steel, and they claim it's built for 1,000 years. So I no need so long lah, 100 years or so, cukup lah. Okay, so that you can actually get that in Malaysia. No, I'm sure you can just tell them, look, bring it here in Malaysia and do it. So the Chinese are gonna out innovate us completely because they got the whole delivery system. Can I have another one? This one by one Masale. Okay, can you just play this one? Not this one. This one, yeah. So this one here, he's taken the Lego block, the typical 6 Lego block. His modular is that. And he only builds that one shape only, just this one shape. And from there he flips and turns and does everything. And what happened is that he's done this in such a way, all the services are actually contained within the thickness of that slab and the bottom. All the services are inside that. And he has claimed that he has reused this 7 times. That means he's built a building like a school or whatever, and then from there they took it away and then they moved it. So he's built it and he's reused it 7 times. So this is another way of talking about IBS. Right, yeah, anyway, so I think we'll stop on this one here. Can I move to the next one? I'm going to share the links of the YouTube. So please spend a bit of time rather than playing TikTok. Please play this. Okay, yeah. Okay. Is it playable? No. Okay, let's just skip to the next one. Yeah. I didn't know how much time I was going to take today, so maybe I might finish earlier. I'm feeling a little tired. Not enough sleep. Okay, so this is the what is IBS, which I have covered, and this is the modules that you probably need to do and have a better understanding. But you're not alone. Like I said, there's people plenty in the industry that's willing to come in and do it. I'll tell you, the people who are in the IBS industry are very, very passionate. They are like, Justin, who's so passionate. And then after that, the passion suddenly gets, the Kesa Benar comes in. The reality check comes in. So I think we can get there. And the issues with Bombard, the issues with they expect you to solve all of their problems from water supply to roads and everything. So if you look here, this is the course learning outcomes. I'm not offering the course. I've asked CIDB with $1 billion that they have to just come up with an online tutorial, and they said they will think about it. I have 4 links to an online tutorial. I'll pass it. I don't even want to pass it to you because it was done in the COVID by some lecturer and how he does the IBS scoring, but it's dreadful. So I didn't even want to share it with you all. Okay, but for close friends, I'm willing to share those with you if you want to have a look at it. Yeah. But I suggest that, because now if you want to learn about the scoring, you have to go to KL and learn IBS. And then for a cursus that you can do in 2 hours or 3 hours, they'll probably stretch you there for 2 days. Okay, so I'm really persuading CIDB to do an online tutorial. At least then you don't have to go there, and then we can do that. I can't promise you that, but maybe Pam or somebody else can do an online tutorial internally. Then you have, oops. Then you have the calculations, and then so day one, day two. There you go. We can do this in one morning, but CIDB wants to do in day one, day two. And most of it is just tea break. You're lucky they may have one VIP come and give you a speech, then they put the ice sculpture and all that. Okay, yeah. So akan datang lagi kalau mau ah. I can't guarantee. If y'all want, then y'all arrange for it. Okay. So this is the photograph I took from the 118, which is probably now the most amazing building now in KL. Everybody wants to go. I can't arrange for you. I can't, yeah. But you know, eventually, if y'all want to go, Penang can always ask. They're very welcoming, lah. Yeah, I know, but I asked the hands here, how many are here didn't go? Yours is your chosen friends. I asked, only 2 hands came up here. Hui Fang, I think Hui Fang went, right? You see, I saw your graffiti there. Hui Fang was here. Yeah. So that is, what is that? That is a curtain wall unitized system. You know, so you know, they don't do curtain walls, so they use unitized system. So everything here is pre-made, you know, with the glass, aluminum, and then they lock it all in place. So the entire facade is unitized system. So one of the largest unitized systems, definitely in Malaysia. Yeah, and one of the largest in the world. So Malaysia actually we all can do it lah, because we already, you see, facades we're already doing unitized. So unitized systems should be considered as a IBS system as well. Yeah, as opposed to curtain wall. Okay, so that's that one. I can come and do the MS 8321107 talk a little bit more on this. So this is the building against Chinwoo. Chinwoo was done in 1953. You know, Chinwoo is a building that was designed by a Malaysian JKR architect in 1953. So these are some of the photographs of the metal frame and the concertina doors and Nako and here it is, you know, side by side with one of the most modern terrace in the building. So in a span of how many years? 70 years. Yeah. So this is where we've come, but we're still dealing with the bomba issues. Yeah. Hey, look, 70 years, the window's still working, huh? Don't play, huh? No. So I think in closing, I think we need to break the vicious cycle. The vicious cycle of what you are facing, the vicious cycle of our mindset. And since 1964, when they started doing the IBS initiative, today we are still in this day and age, right? So now, if you see most of, including most our friendly sponsors today, most of them are in marketing. The technical departments of Sika and MAPES and you know, many of the people that come and serve you in the office are non-technical anymore, right? Many of them are sales. So where are the technical people? So it's all about meeting KPIs and sales topics. And then the younger professionals like you all here, you know, it's the bosses are too busy. You know, occasionally I come once a year to share 2 hours. How much can I help you? I'm only going to make you more depressed. Yeah, and then many of our details are just recycled. Whereas Rian, as you saw, he had to start again. So he was gutsy. That's why I asked Rian to come today, because Rian is your generation. He's your generation. So you know, when he said, look, he spent so much time having to start again, he had to deal with the issues of authorities and no standards, and he had to go to Singapore and read that, and then had the guts to do it. So you know, so it is already happening. Okay? And what did he say? Will he do it again? He said yes. He thinks that it's a good idea to go. And then no more contractors and manufacturers proposals, please. You cannot do that. You can't always say, hey, contractor proposed for me. It's time for the architects to take back that control to say you are really the master craftsman, the master builder, and the contractor is the person who will realize what you want him to do. So I think we can't wait on the others. Okay. So this is just my closing slide to say that we are already building one of the most modern, second highest high-rise building in the world. This is the second highest high-rise in the building in the world today. But on the other hand, 99% of the buildings are still kicking the bricks and dealing with Indonesian and Bangladeshi problems. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to end, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Thank you very much, Anthony. So we will open the floor for Q&A session. And then for those who joined through online Zoom, you may unmute yourself to ask question, or you may post your question in the chat group. So any questions from the floor?
No questions means everybody can. I'm going to give assignment. Huh? You all know, right? You all got assignment, right? Yeah. You know, no. Okay, maybe I'm just going to ask you all. Maybe Al or some of my, fellow friends here. Where do we go from here in Penang? This is you guys are the taiko and the seafood here. Yeah. Although it's a small slither, the very fact that the IBS here, the take-up rate for this seminar, not knowing the issues IBS today, and unlike another talk that I'm doing where I get double, triple the number of people, is an indication that I don't think you all really understand what to do or don't know what to do now. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The gentleman, can you introduce your name? Mr. Wing, yeah.
Well, this is more of asking your opinions. Like over here, normally we see very common for high rise, whereby you have the podium floor, which is totally different. So do you have any ideas how we go about it? Let's say if in the case we look at this PVC construction, will it work?
I don't know, because it hasn't been done yet. I can't tell you. Maybe you do it the first 10 times, it won't work. Yeah. I can't tell you because it has not been explored. But like it or not, if your state government decides to say, look, we're going to adopt it here, you're going to have to make it work. It's no longer a choice. The law is already issued, and Pam agreed to it. So I think we shouldn't say like, when GBI came in, everybody go, oh, green, now I'm going to go and study again, right? Right? Remember when GBI came in? Yeah. And then when AutoCAD came in, when our drafting days, we go, AutoCAD. Then BIM, every other 4-5 years, something new is going to come. If you don't do it, you know what's going to happen? Miss that lady, the broad. Sorry, no, I'm not going to call her from the broad group. They're just going to ship it here, right? Yeah. And you saw the prices that she said. It's a 200,000, over $1,000 US, and that's sending to US. Here is a lot nearer. Yeah. So all they need here is you guys to just build the footing on it or now. So architects, don't worry, you just do footings. You just use the ground slab and you do the footings, and then the Chinaman is gonna come, and then you're just gonna park it. And literally, if you see the videos that I have showed, it's totally hinged up. Everything is hinged. The floor is just hinged down. The windows just pushed out, and then the moment it's powered up, the windows have all the auto blinds. The curtains are there, Yeah, and it's made in China. Yeah, you don't have to look around and see whether made in China or not. It is definitely made in China. Yeah. Yeah. And it's made by robots, it's all robotic. They have already set it up. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Architect Anthony. My name is Architect Anwar. So we have a small job, not to say small, here in Penang, in Georgetown. It's IBS. In fact, CIBB is coming this Monday. So it's been shortlisted for award and it's going to so they have to come here with ICU on this thing. So this project was the first for me, fully IBS. We achieved.
What kind of project is it?
It's
Can you-
office building.
Office building?
Um,
JKR? Government?
Under Kementerian.
Government building lah. How
so,
many percent? How many percent?
Minimum 70. Minimum
Okay,
70
right.
points. So, government building, more than 10 million IDF, right? The issue that I want to say is that we have to be ready. Like what you said, we have to design the building with that in mind from the start.
You did, huh? You guys did it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But then there's an issue of you have to understand the contract settlement system because IBS is a proprietary system, right? So when the engineers, like you said, there's some issue with what the engineer understand and what the IBS supplier. We have the one in Branang.
So gaduh lah.
A lot of issue up to the point where the engineer, I'm sorry to say, withdrew.
That's right.
So we have a 7 months. I've talked to BP. We have to stop the work. So there was a 7-month delay until the new engineer is appointed because it's very careful how you put it in the contract. This is the issue of design, supply, fabricate, or you supply and fabricate. There's a big difference there. So there was a lot of argument there. In fact, the IBS contractor found out some design deficiency.
Oh, you cannot say.
That's the issue there.
Must
Up to the point where the
point mistakes, yeah.
Yeah. So up to the point where the consultant just, I'll surrender, you go ahead. But we have to suffer. So the thing is, that's only a 10 million or 15 million job. If you go more than that in the private sector, we have cases where the contractor comes to propose with a system. There's a lot of issue there also. You have shear wall system, but those are still cost sensitive, right? But when we go for IBS, it simply means a pre-assembly, right? So we have a project here in Georgetown, and like you said, very limited site. They have to really plan it. You deliver it from Selangor, the truck comes in straight away, just in time installation. A bit of delay, then they have to suffer. There's simply no place to put it up. And then once you design it, like from my experience, we have to really sort it out in terms of services. We managed to convince, in this case, Hume to actually allow openings in the beams, allow openings in the Holocaust lab. So that has to be done during the contract. You cannot simplify that. Specify that in the contract. A lot of work has to be done between the consultant and the fabricator themselves.
Thank you.
Okay?
That's
all I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments on what he just said? He's scaring you guys. So what he raised two issues here. One is service, the coordination of services. Another one is dealing with the engineer. If you want to do IBS today and you got a design already approved, and then what happens is that your QS, including yourself and the developer, are going to say, put in that the contractor has to comply to 70%. That's what's going to happen, right? You redesigned the thing. I know, Hui Fang, I know you're already going to do that. Yeah, she already said that. Yeah. You just put it in. You just say like classic, contractor has to go and do 80% or whatever. The contract now, the obligation is just to throw to somebody else. And then you just sit back and you say, hey, contractor, you go and do CIDB, not CIDB is not me, I'm architect. CIDB is main con, right? Yeah. So that then what he says is going to happen, because then you're going to have to change from conventional to some kind of a IBS system, right? Yeah, you can't do that. There's no way you can do that. I mean, I've done when I was in MBF, that was all we did. The design was done by the architects, and then I was trying to change it to lightweight precast walls, and every day was an argument. Every day, I will be telling the architect and the engineer that, hey, look, I can make the party walls thinner. Hey, cannot. Bomba says cannot. It must be so thick. So immediately the big building became heavier. Right? So the whole purpose of the IBS is defeated. Then I said, hey, look, can we standardize? Standardize? You mean you change my design? Right? Yeah. So immediately the contractor becomes like any other suppliers, like any other people. So mindset is that the architect just sits there. You guys are not master builders. You guys are just doing drawings for somebody to go and build. You must change that mindset. So Rian has done that, as you see. He's taken that on, and I'm asking Rian. I'm using Rian as example because of the age profile. Our generation, we had no choice. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I think, like I said, the mindset needs to start that from beginning. So if you have already an existing design and you say, look, you want to do IBS, you're gonna have to kind of say, okay, we maintain the density. I really want roughly this look. Okay, then you invite the technologists to come in, you invite the engineers to come in and say, well, let's start and see whether we can IBS this from beginning. I have to throw away some of what I've done and I have to come back and check it. And then ask and ask and ask and ask. Okay, don't be overconfident about yourself. This is the time for you to start questioning yourself, to say it's a good time for you to do this and leave a better legacy for the industry. Okay, yeah. Okay.
On the floor.
Come late, someone ask question.
So I ask whether PAM-KL will set up.
No. I have enough in KL. Please, don't ask PAM KL to do. No. Dr. Low has agreed just now quietly. He said PAM Northern Chapter will lead. Yes.
Okay, end of my question.
No lah. I'm telling you, PAM Central. They got a lot. There are a lot of other committees there. Yeah. So IBS and being a builder is not necessarily going to happen yet. It should start from the chapters. Yeah. Please. That's why I came here. I always launch the difficult topics here in Penang. This is my first topic in IBS. I'm talking in 30 years. Okay. So that's why I took so much effort to put it together, and all the information I've given to you. What I've covered today is only like 1% of what it is. And then only you start talking to industry people. What are the other peoples that they have done? Start talking to industry people and bring them in. Then you understand the challenges they face. You got to understand the whole ecosystem first before you can even start saying, look, you want to go into the IBS. But in Penang, because you have a lot of experience with the factories, more than many other states. Okay. So start with some benchmark that you can work on. Okay.
Anthony, I wish to remind you, this morning you have question for side fact, right? Do you remember when they...
The external wall, is it? No, but I meant to speak about that, not so much on their product. Yeah. No, because I think you all know about using lightweight concrete block, AAC blocks on external walls, right? I'm sure you have one building here in Penang that had a lot of cracks. Right. Yeah. A lot of what they say that you can use AAC on external walls and plaster with their specialty mortar and plaster. So far, I haven't seen any that work. Yeah. Okay. I'll come to Langkawi 1 year later. After your DLP, suddenly everything come out. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that if you're not careful about it, just avoid doing it. But it goes against the green because the U value is very high. Okay, so at Architect Center, we're doing at least 2 or 3 other investigations of cracks on external walls using AAC. Yeah. Internal, I think is fine. But if you're going to use externally, you just got to be a lot more careful. Okay, right. So be careful with that. Okay, so can I go home? Can I go? All right, thank you very much. Can I pass the mic to you? Yeah.